At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili and has been for nearly 100 years since we opened in 1923. We help put Newcastle on the map as the hot dog capital of the world. Visit our store, place an order for pickup at mpconeyisland.com, delivery with DoorDash, or find the grocery store near you with our chili locator on our website. Want to own your own MP Coney Island? Now you can with our franchise system. At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili.
Ron, all right, I'm trying to get something here, and okay. It's not the Newcastle band, but it's the same fight song, right?
We do play this. Yes.
We do play it.
Yes, the name fight song.
So we're gonna play it through a little bit.
Is that a request of Coach McHale?
Probably.
This used to be the actual alma mater or fight song. I don't remember of Ben Franklin's.
Yeah.
And then and all the kids still know, well, the candy canes more than the kids nowadays. Because the band doesn't sing it anymore in the field, but the candy canes still do. They know all the words to the Newcastle version.
Right. Well, anyway, that is the introduction of tonight's show. We have Nick YOHO from he's our band director at the Newcastle Red Hurricane Marching Band.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, and we thought we'd bring him in here because we talked about Nick in the past about the tradition, and it's also the band, the cheerleaders, and the candy canes, the majorettes. So we're little by little we're going to bring that tradition in.
Great.
Because I think that that needs to be addressed because you know we all grew up through it, and this is the guys who's been with us, and actually this is our episode 26. This
I
is our
saw that.
good number.
26.
Number 26.
Kind of a special number.
Yeah. So Frank talked about the band a few weeks ago, and he gave us some good pointers because I think Sally was in the band, correct? So that's how Frank met Sally.
Okay.
Frank met Sally. She was in the band.
Yep.
But we talked about that, and every week that we go through this, we ask. We tell people out there in the audience, if you're a band member, or if you're a candy cane, and matter of fact, the lady answered, she got on the Facebook, and she asked what about the cheerleaders. I said, you're welcome. We're here 6:30, and at the Cervax Neck, we're down here at the old Penn Power Building, and we'll talk tradition. But before we get to you, we're going to go right to Chip, and we're going to go right into our things we do right from the beginning.
You just want to talk about, since you went to Baltimore this week, let's talk about the NFL. We have our own insider here. He's like Mort. He's a Ravens insider.
Before you go,
Go
okay,
ahead.
then you can go lead into that. I just wanted to tell the audience, and I'll tell you guys, that, and I'm not trying to be like biased, but I was at that game, and I probably cried the first 5 minutes of the game when I stood there, and I watched them introduce. He was the first guy introduced, and when it came out of his mouth, the announcer came out and he's one of the leading pass interceptors in the league at 3. I lost it. I just lost my emotions. It was just.
So they happened
really
to just be introducing the defense now.
Well, they were introducing the defense, but he was the first guy.
Okay.
I'm assuming because that was what he has accomplished.
That's fantastic.
And they went on, and it was just such an emotional thing. But Aaron was there, his friends were there, Connie was there, my wife was there, and it was just like unbelievable. And they played, and the team as a whole, they played. That probably was their come out game,
for sure.
I would think.
Yeah.
If this guy plays like this, if this Lamar Jackson plays this way,
They put everything together: the run game, the defense,
yes,
everything.
On the way home from the roller coaster ride on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, we talked about that earlier. But anyway, on the way home, Connie and I were listening to Harbaugh, and the question they asked, one of the reporters asked him, "You guys knew how tough the Lions' offense was." He says, "Well, we did. We knew that, but they worked at it. They, as a coach, and watching it, not only watching it, but as a coach, all the years I've watched, they physically beat up the offensive line of the Detroit Lions.
And
Beat them up.
Really good offensive line.
Totally unbelievable. They just they just literally kicked their ass.
Yeah. And
the
Lions, the Lions were, Vegas had them in their top 5
for odds.
So Yeah.
And another interesting thing, what somebody asked, one of the media guys asked Harbaugh, you're going into Arizona next week, and they're 1-5. He says, stop right there. Stop. I'm stopping you right there. If our guys don't know this by now, that you play in the NFL, and you go out on a Sunday, it doesn't matter what the record is.
Right.
If you're 0-6 and you're 5-1 or 5-2 or you're 8-1, it just proved to show you the last couple of weeks with the 49ers.
Yeah.
They lost another game last night to a team that wasn't really that good.
But at home,
Yes.
right? You know, the fans were into the game,
Yes.
and
Yep.
the quarterback played well. Their defense
Right.
played really good.
Right.
And there you go. Look how bad the Ravens looked against Pittsburgh.
Oh,
they looked
yeah.
horrible.
But what they did was they let the Steelers hang around.
And,
And in the
Drop
NFL,
passes.
and
right.
the Rams did the same thing this week. Same
Yep.
thing. But I mean, I think everybody's proud when Geno Stone or Malik Hooker.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
watching that game and you see somebody from Newcastle
Right.
playing in an NFL game and doing well.
Yep.
They're not just on special teams. These guys are
Right.
they're playing.
Starting.
They're starters
They're starting.
in the NFL from the same high school, Nick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not easy to do.
I had them both in class.
Yeah, so.
And I mean, and it was just, it's great to see them at that level now.
As a matter of fact, Geno's leading the league now.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
4
4.
interceptions.
Yep.
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 It was a pop-up.
Well, he caught it.
Yeah. The guy
he
gave
did.
that one to
It was a
him.
pop-up. He
But you
caught
got to
it.
catch him.
Yeah, you got to catch him. Those are the hard
Sometimes.
ones to catch.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell he was throwing that to. But
I think, you know what I think? I think the Lions, and if you watch the game, I think the Lions were so frustrated. They were trying to make, it was 35-0 at that point. I think they, right now? I think they were trying to score. They were trying to score any way they could.
And we've talked about this week to week. NFL, how can you decipher what's going to happen from week to week and bet on teams? Look how bad they look from week to week,
Right.
and good they look the next. It's
There's
hard.
a reason why all these players are at that level.
Exactly.
They're going to rise to the occasion some weeks more than others.
You know, I know you've seen live games. We've all seen right at the field. You know, but you can see so much when you're live. You know what I mean? Like on TV, you see it. You know, you see, but you can see things develop. You see things.
Well, let's
develop.
ask how good a seats did Geno give you?
We
Where
had
were
we
they
had
at?
good
Were
seats.
first level?
We were section 119, so we were in a corner of the end zone, not quite where he was. Probably like maybe from here to that stop sign across the
Yeah.
street here. We're looking at.
So
it.
you was in that end zone. when
We
you
were in
said
that end
pass
zone,
was.
and good seats. The jumbotron here, jumbotron there.
It was
So
a lot
whatever you-
warmer this week than when you went last
Well,
year.
let me
right?
tell you something about that. I told you guys last year we went down
how
there.
cold it was.
Oh my God, it was so cold. Like I still shake. But
And when was that? Was it November? Right?
it was in November.
Yeah, it
It's
was
supposed to be in the 50s there. So it was 34, and the wind chill was like 16 degrees.
16.
So we go into the stadium. So Coney and I stayed in a hotel. So she goes to me, "What do you think? Should we dress?" She goes, "I don't know if I want to bring my coat with me." I said, "Con, I don't know." It was 20-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, steady, just constant 20-mile-an-hour wind. I said, "I don't know. I don't trust this stadium because there's water around near you, and you're going to get that wind chill." It was 62 degrees out. I swear to you that it felt like it was 32 degrees. I had a big
Because of the
coat.
wind.
I had a big coat on. I had my tassel hat on. It was, I mean, you had to like, but on the other side, it was all sunshine.
sun. All
Yeah.
makes a big difference.
But it was worth it. It was worth
Oh,
it.
I bet. I turned the game on, the pre-game on, and I seen the girl reporting from the sidelines, and her hair was blowing all around. I was like,
I'm going to tell you
I had to
something.
switch my fantasy kicker.
Right.
I said, wait a second, I got to get out of here because the wind's going to be blowing all over the
Never.
place.
I watched the flags. They have flags flying above the stadium. I watched those flags. I kept looking up. I was like, those flags have never died. Those flags never died down from the wind. It was just like a constant flow of wind. You know? But it was nice. The traffic air. Oh my goodness.
That's a trade-off, right?
Yep.
That's a trade-off.
And Aaron and Gino take care of all the people that come to watch them. We parked like we're here. Here's where the parking lot is. And if you walk across the street, the Rite Aid, which Rite Aid's right there, you walk across the street and walk 100 yards. That's where the seat's at.
Beautiful.
So it's not. But the thing is, after the game, we went upstairs with we had wristbands to see Gino. So we waited for him for about 20 minutes, and he came up, we talked, BS for a while. We were there hour and 10 minutes after the game, and we still got in traffic. We waited till the traffic, and there was still a lot of traffic.
Did he say anything about his London trip? Did you happen to talk
We
about
didn't get a chance to talk to that, just Aaron, just a little wee
What'd
bit
she
with
say?
Aaron. She said it was a fantastic experience, you know.
I bet.
You know,
That's
it was,
something else.
naturally you're all messed up with the time and everything, but you get used to that. And I think that's why Harbaugh made that move. Because if you guys remember, if anybody remembers, in 2017, they got their butts kicked down there because they got there on a Friday, and they were all messed up with the time and everything. So I guess if this ever happens again, I think he's just giving a signal to the other teams: go early, get adjusted to the
Absolutely,
time.
yeah.
I think the time's the worst thing.
Sure it is.
Probably.
They
Sure
were
it is.
5 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like crazy. So
I mean,
good
NFL teams
experience.
do that, college teams do that, so that happens.
Yeah, go ahead,
All right,
Chip.
so that's our Ravens insider, Adam Schefter. The Steeler game, another Tomlin game, I guess, because the offense looked absolutely horrible. Their offense is 640 some yards to the negative week by week. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. But
Chip, Najee Harris broke out. He had a decent game.
yeah, he sort of did, and Warren did well too. But Kenny stepped it up in the second half. Started again. T.J. Watt intercepted that pass. Minka Fitzpatrick had a great game, and I keep saying, I don't know what they're paying T.J. Watt. We're going to get Randy to make us shirts, but it's not enough. I mean, the guy's just fantastic. So there was that. Eagles game, watched that whole game the other night. That was another Eagles domination. The brotherly shove, unstoppable. And it's amazing how many times it came up that they needed a yard.
Yeah.
And automatic. And they just did what they had to do. The biggest thing, too, in that game, they held the Dolphins, which been powerhouse
And
of
an
people.
explosive offense.
Minus 7 yards rushing in the first half. That
Yeah,
was
and I have
big.
Mostert on my fantasy.
Oh, you did? Well, he did get a score, though, didn't he?
He
Did he get a
did
score?
he get a score, or did he just end up getting a decent amount of yards and a
Maybe.
couple catches?
Yes.
One of the top offenses.
And then, another one of these games that you say, how did that happen? The Patriots beat the Bills. Josh Allen is 75% of their offense. And if anything else needs to be done, they're really stuck running the ball. They've got some injuries, Buffalo.
Yeah,
They do.
yeah.
They lost their linebacker, their wide receivers out, a corner's out. So that's
Nick, we
another
talked
thing.
about it all these weeks. You can go on. We talked about all these weeks. How healthy are you at the end of the season?
Right.
And if you're healthy, that's like the baseball right now. Those are
Right.
the pitcher stayed healthy.
Mhm.
It's going to be. Is the Philly play tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, game 7.
Tonight's
Wow.
8:07 first
I went
pitch
down
tonight.
to Game 7.
It's Game 7 in Philadelphia. The place will be rocking. It was rocking last night.
Yeah.
I'm not
Crazy.
rooting for Philly.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you that. I know you're not rooting for the Phillies, but you got to admit, man, they're hitting. They're
Their
playing, they're both
offense,
good.
their lineup, top to bottom, is stacked.
And
You got
Phillies-
Turner,
Phil-
Turner, Harper, Castaneas.
No matter what part of the lineup.
when they get rolling, they get rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be a good one tonight. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Last thing, the Browns, 39-38. They're 4-2.
That was controversial, wasn't it?
Look what I write there. Controversial calls.
Yeah.
I was
there was
watching.
2 of them.
I was waiting for Gene. We were waiting for Gino to come. We had a big screen, and I watched that at the end. I went, oh, come
Yeah,
on,
it's.
man.
I mean,
Steelers was controversial too.
Steelers was caught the pit. We're going to talk
Yeah,
about the
we'll
pit
talk
slide. The referees, they're human, but they've got the camera to back
But
them
they
up.
couldn't review that.
No, they
because
couldn't.
Yeah.
Was it
They
because
couldn't.
those other 2
Jeez.
guys?
No, he ran out. He didn't have a.
They conferred. It's not like it was one guy's call. They conferred. The ball almost hit the back wall. Now, who's can say that guy was even going to get a hand on
Yeah.
that ball?
There was
But,
another similar pass interference call in another game. I want to say it was the Philly game. That was very similar into the end zone. The guy actually got turned right around.
it happened Sunday all day long.
He was
It
not gonna
does.
get-
And they miss him. It's going to happen. It's part of the game,
That happened to Miami.
Yeah.
It was Miami that they didn't call it.
Right.
They didn't call it. They didn't call it.
And they had a touchdown called back, too.
The drop,
Yeah.
But that's the way the NFL rolls. That's what happens. You win. The Steelers won a game like that. They lost a game like that. That
Well,
happens.
that's similar to the baseball argument. Do you want robo umpires, or do you want calling balls and strikes, or do you want the human error
Yeah.
in it?
Yeah.
Sam and I have had that conversation
million
multiple
times.
times.
Now that you brought that up, and we'll go to Major League Baseball next. You brought that up, Nick, because I had written something down here. There was an umpire the other night. He had 99% of his calls, which I thought was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. And the call he missed was inches. So I said, well, these guys. I mean, I know they go through schooling, and this guy's done 3 ALCSs. But I went up and said, they make $300,000 a year. These And if they get into an ALCS or an LCS, they make 20 grand. So these guys are good at what they do. So yeah, maybe you need the robo, maybe it'll make it perfect, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They really are. ALCS, we just talked a little bit about the Astros, 11-4 Game 7. The road team won every game, right?
Yes.
Won every game in that series. That's only the second time that ever happened. Adolis Garcia, here's what his stat line last night. This is the guy that's been on a tear. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 4 hits, scored 3 times. He has 15 RBIs in that series. 15. Pretty good.
Yeah.
You know. So it's going to be Texas's first World Series in 12 years. Just to say, where are our Pirates compared to that? 2 years prior to that, I just saw this today. The Rangers lost 100 games each season, and they turned it around this year. So they made the necessary
Right.
changes. They brought in a superstar manager to put it all together, and that's what happened. Yummy's Phillies are playing the Diamondbacks tonight at 8:07 at Citizens Bank Park.
I think I'm a Braves fan, by the way.
That's even worse. 1992 still scars me.
That's how they played their series, the Braves.
I went to Cooperstown this 2 summers ago now, and in there in Cooperstown they have a big TV screen that has probably about 8 screens just to make it as big as you can. And you can call up almost any big play throughout any time of baseball. And which one did I go to? I wanted to see the 1992 Pirates getting thrown out at home, throwing
Barry
not
Bonds.
not throwing the guy out at home.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" I said, "Well, maybe if it's on a big enough screen like this, I can prove that it was wrong." Of course,
Bream, one of the slowest guys in baseball.
Exactly.
I think
He
had
couldn't
the
throw.
2D surgeries, I think.
Yeah.
at that time.
And I think I saw something on one of these Pirate shows that the coaching staff and I believe it was Andy Van Slyke was trying to get him.
He told him to move up.
Right? Did you hear that too?
Yeah, he tried to get him
So
to
they
move
tried,
up.
and he wouldn't listen, and he was too deep. Well, that's baseball too. All right, so I mean, the series should be good. First game will be Friday in Texas, no matter who wins.
Right.
First game. So that's where you want to go next.
Let's go to college football.
College football, NCAA, big game Saturday. Ohio State Buckeyes, 20-12. That Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's
He's just a
unbelievable.
freak.
And they call him what? Marvelous Marvin.
He's good.
He's good.
He's good. He's big. He's fast. He's strong.
he got
like
big
a
money.
Maserati, they call him.
He has big money written all over.
Oh yeah.
Big.
If he's not the first pick because of there's a quarterback need, he should be. 11 catches, 162 yards. He had a score. Penn State looked anemic. I guess their
Yeah,
quarterback just didn't look well.
Well, I don't know. I don't like to say this because I'm not a Penn State fan and I'm not an Ohio State fan, but does the guy win the big games? No.
That I heard that too.
Doesn't
That
win the
came
big
up.
games.
Now
He don't win the games that our teams are ranked. He has trouble with that. He
does.
struggles with
He
it.
hasn't beat Ohio State, but his recruiting has gotten better. He's in the
Got
top
better.
5. You know, he's been in the top 10. But does he get those Marvin Harrison Jr. kind
No,
of
he
players?
doesn't. And
No.
Ohio
And he
State
does.
does. Ohio State
So
does.
can you compete against Michigan and Ohio State without those players? He just hasn't been there. Now
Can anyone beat Michigan?
this year,
I'm an Ohio State fan, and I
It's
don't
gonna be
think
hard.
they're even going to beat them.
You're an Ohio State fan.
I'm an Ohio State
Right.
fan, and I don't think they'll beat Michigan.
you know, we've been talking that Georgia looks like, lethargic at times, or not look like they're on their game yet, but who knows? Ohio State, game to game, but Michigan's been the team that's been
Yeah.
rolling.
Ohio State's defense is pretty good.
Defense looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's the offense that just looks a little slow. I don't think they have their quarterback yet
Yeah, right.
to run.
Right.
They don't have the next C.J.
guy.
Stroud or something like
Right.
that.
Alabama, shaky.
Alabama, 28 unanswered though. They
Right.
turned the switch on and boom, now that quarterback's starting to get better. And
Might be a little too late.
yes, it might be. And then what other games we have here, Young?
You don't want to talk about Pitt?
Well, we're going to get there.
Okay.
Florida State and Duke. Alabama 34-20. Utah. Did anybody watch Utah USC?
I did.
caught the end of it. Wasn't it a good game? Good game. Back and
It was a
forth.
good game.
Late
Yes, it was.
late field goal to win it. Great game. Caleb Williams didn't have a back-to-back bad games for him against two quality
Absolutely.
opponents.
And actually, I'm glad that Utah won. I really don't care for.
They're good.
Yeah, they
They're
are
good.
good.
They're
They are
good.
good.
Yeah. Pitt, the slide. Yummy, if you want to go through some of that. What happened?
I thought it was where you ended up your slide. I didn't know when you started.
It's
your
when you
slide.
start.
But let's talk before the slide. The whole
should
game.
never came
Didn't
down
it?
to
Yes,
that.
it shouldn't have, right? Because didn't they have their second and third string quarterback, Georgia, Wake Forest? Didn't they?
That might have been the second.
And then it
second
ended up with their third, right? He threw the touchdown pass.
Yeah, at the end of the game.
Yeah, to a guy that nobody's even heard of before, and Pitt just Narduzzi just can't get over that hump sometimes.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Pitt could only lose one more
I'll
game.
tell you,
I know a Pitt
a
fan.
lot of Pitt fans
I'm not
are
a Pitt
not
fan either.
happy
I know.
with him at all, and I've talked to a couple of them, including myself. I just don't see them making progress unless they have a quality quarterback.
Yep.
I think he waited too long to sit to Hovick.
Well,
after
I
two
think so,
games,
too.
don't you sure you know after two games?
But a player you would think of that caliber is going to come out of it sooner or later, and he never did. I don't know what happened to him, because I thought his high school play was really good. Then he got up to Boston College, had some success, and then he just fell off the end of the earth. But Pitt, the slide, it was a bad call. It was a bad call. I mean, you got to know that the spirit of the rule is, to get him down and not get injured. But he had the first down. So
Right.
mark it just where, mark it
They
back.
can't review that.
I don't know. I
I know,
don't know if they can or not.
I know
don't
you're
know.
allowed to review a spot, but
So if any of the referees are watching,
Give us an answer.
let us know. Maybe can they review the slide and
John, you watch, I think.
quit sticking up for the referee.
who? Huh?
I want to ask Nick about Youngstown State, because Nick,
I was just at the game this past Saturday.
they are record-wise,
They are 2-2 in conference, 4-3 maybe overall.
4-3 overall.
4-3. Marcus looked good.
Yeah.
Every other play it seemed like on defense. Marcus Hooker on the tackle. Marcus Hooker on the tackle
Wow.
on
That's
the
fantastic.
breakup. That's all you heard a lot. And then you heard Mike Wells' name a couple times on special teams.
Right.
But
He's
it's,
enormous, Michael Wells.
Oh yeah.
Enormous.
Oh,
I've seen
yeah.
him at a game.
I've been at 3 of the 4 home games so far
Oh,
this
okay.
I
year.
think Michael Wells just got to wait his turn. He got some.
I think yes. Yeah, I agree. There's some things that the defense needs a little bit of help to kind of tighten up. They have the offense to beat almost anyone in FCS.
Right.
But the defense, the very first game I noticed, their defense is a little, besides Marcus and a couple other players, a little too many bad calls.
Right.
Just personal
Right,
fouls
right,
and stuff
right.
like that.
What's your connection to WashU? You?
I'm with
grad?
YSU, yeah.
Okay.
And my connection, and the reason why I'm an Ohio State fan is I was at Youngstown in the band when Tressel was the coach.
Okay.
Went to 2 national championships while in the band under him. One they won, one they lost. So then when he left to go to Ohio State, my allegiance for the big time schools went with him
Yeah. Oh,
to
for
Ohio
sure.
State.
For sure.
Okay. When I was the athletic director, me and Nick talked. We'll go back to baseball. We'll bounce around.
Okay.
And I don't know if I told you, but I said 74 wins.
You did.
I see you remember.
I did.
And then bet something on that.
And then in a week,
cleaned up.
a week before the season, I just need 4 more. Four more this week, 4 more,
I said,
whatever.
Nick, we get
My
4
phone
more
just
wins.
kept blowing up.
That was
He was right
But
on.
I went
spot
right
on.
on. I even said it. I went out on a limb on that one.
Oh, yeah,
Because
spot
we didn't
on.
know. They played terrible in May.
Yeah.
Played good in April, terrible in May. Maybe you win a few more games in May, you're 500.
If
Right.
you look at the
Yeah.
Pirates' record and look at Arizona's record, they're not.
Oh, I know.
Right?
82 and I forget
They're
what
not
it
too
was.
far
Yeah,
off.
No.
Right.
They're not off.
Right.
Again, if Cruz don't get hurt, how many more games do you think they win on no Cruz?
Okay, and also, if you don't start Austin Hedges, who's going to the World Series?
Exactly. Yeah.
How do you, if you don't start him so much, and start getting these other catchers, ND up, and maybe give who's the right fielder now? The Henry, you guys know who?
Yeah,
Davis, Henry Davis.
Davis, yeah.
they haven't even given him a chance to catch yet.
Carlos Santana, he's up for a Gold Glove.
Santana, he was a great. I would love to see them pick him up one more time, just because he's going to be a free agent. But they need a free agent first baseman
Yeah.
for 3 years.
Pirates can field
Yeah.
an all World Series team.
Almost every year.
You know, Ziggy's our expert with the Pirates and the Penguins, and he feels that Zig felt that we need Pirates, not we, but the Pirates need a middle inning pitcher, 5, 6,
Okay.
7.
Setup guy.
Yes,
A good setup guy.
a good setup guy, and maybe another good starting pitcher.
They need a starting pitcher, a first baseman.
First baseman.
I think they
talked
need a
about that.
first baseman to sign, not one of these 36, 37 reclamation projects that they're
Right.
going to.
They've had luck with that.
They have.
They've been blessed
and
with
they
these
trade
guys.
and they get rid of them right at the right time.
Well, they have to.
get those prospects back.
Yeah.
But those prospects never blossom in anything.
That's the game you play, I guess.
Right.
Do you think McCutcheon will be back?
One more year. I think he's back one more year.
One more year.
And he's still playing caliber.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Well, he hit the ball.
Hits the ball.
His eye is probably the best in the major leagues
I agree.
right now for an older guy.
Right.
How about Hayes? Is he living up to his contract?
At times, I think
Second half of the season, I
Yeah,
thought he
second
did.
half of the season. Yeah, he was on a stroke in the ball at times. He did not.
We're gonna
But
go.
he's a Gold Glove finalist and a finalist for best overall defenseman in the league this year.
Now, while we were talking about the Pirates, we want to talk about the Yankees because these two guys are Yankee fans. So what do you both think they need? The Yankees.
They need a couple pitchers, I think. I think they need another infielder and another outfielder. I think they're getting a little bit old, some of them.
Yeah.
Who you
They
taking
do
out of the
got-
lineup, Frank?
Huh?
Who you taking out? I know you're not taking Judge out. That's for sure.
Well, no, you can't take Judge out.
See,
Is that Volpe now? Is
You got
that how you
Judge,
say his
he's
name?
always hurt.
Volpe.
Volpe?
He's a young kid.
that's the man Judge is always hurt. Sometimes
Right
it's just
there.
little thing. Okay, I've never experienced. They say, okay, your toe, he's out because of his toe. Now, come on, growing up, we played with. We hit our toes or break our toes. And
It's
you
about the
wrap them
money.
up and you play.
It's all about that
Carlo
money and
John Carlo. I
Yeah.
mean, he's always hurt.
Always hurt. But
I don't think they need him.
What he said about Judge, when Judge is out, they're horrible.
That's it.
Correct.
It seems like.
They
And
drop.
I'm sorry, one man does not make a team.
It should.
And I don't care.
It shouldn't. Not with their
I'll
salaries.
stand
that guys
behind
are
that all the
And
time.
John Carlo never picked it up.
No.
He never picked it up, and then he gets hurt.
He gets hurt a lot.
I think they have to replace him. To be honest with you, I really do.
Yeah,
Does he have contract years left?
I don't know how many years.
Stats is getting up there too.
I don't know
That's
how
what
many
you
years
said,
he got
yeah.
left. Now this kid they brought up towards the end of the year, I forget his name. He was hitting home runs like crazy.
Yeah.
Young kid,
They always say the Yankees farm system's the best.
Who's
These guys, you don't know that. Everybody says, well, who do you like on the Yankees? I says, I don't know half their names.
Who's the
It's always
DH for the
used to be.
Yankees right now?
John Carlo was,
Okay.
was DH.
So I was gonna say you could bring in Otani because where's he gonna go? But he's only gonna DH for the year and then this next year he'll start pitching again.
Well, I'm just saying if they would get rid of John Carlo,
Yeah.
And even Mike Trout's going to be available too.
Yeah.
And they were talking about he'd be a nice outfielder for the Yankees. So
Right.
I don't.
They're always the first team that comes up when there's somebody out there.
Yes.
Before you knew a whole lot, I know Peter, Rodriguez, O'Neill. You knew all those guys. Masada.
Well, they got old.
LeMahieu's getting old too. There's another one.
And it's not like it used to be where these guys stay with a team for a few. They move around so much,
Right.
and they disappear on you.
You know, we're going to get to Nick here in 2 minutes, but
Yeah,
we
no
have
problem.
we have a segment. We call it That's Interesting. And I dig this stuff out. I dug it out right before I came. We're going to go to college. So this is just interesting stuff. The University of Oklahoma has the longest winning streak in college football, emerging victorious from 47 games in a row from 1953 to 1957. Listen to this one. I don't know, maybe Drew Brees, ex-Saints quarterback, holds the record for the highest number of attempted passes in college football game. He threw the ball 83 times as a Boilermaker for a win over Wisconsin in 1998. 83
Well, you'd
times.
think some of them BYU teams, those whack
Right.
teams, they just throw. But
Right.
I never knew that.
Yep. The most overtimes played. Anybody know that? How many? The most played in college football game is
Was it 7 or 9 LSU?
Seven.
Was that an LSU?
2 games are tied at record. Arkansas Razorback played in both. First was Arkansas versus Ole Miss in 201. The second was Arkansas versus Kentucky in 201.
Ole Miss. Was it? What's it? Eli Manning still with them?
He might have.
Might have been.
Arkansas won both games. The longest field goal ever in football did not come from the NCAA school. In '76, Ove Johansson of Abilene Christian, an NAIA school like Westminster used to be, kicked a 69-yard field goal that stands still the longest on record.
Wow.
The longest field goal in an NCAA game is 65 yards. The record is held by Martin
Dramatica.
Grammatica.
Martin
Grammatica.
Martin Grammatica.
Of
Martin.
Kansas
There you
State.
go.
He played at Kansas State. Who achieved
Grammatica
this in
is
19
Tampa,
without-
right?
Yeah.
Without the aid of a kicking team.
There was two brothers.
Yeah, they were
right?
brothers.
They were the dancing
Yeah.
Grammaticas.
One got hurt celebrating a long
That's
field
they,
goal.
well, they call them the
Yeah.
dancing
Yeah.
Grammaticas. I think Berman gave him that name.
That's gotta be hard from the ground.
Oh, wow. 65 yards. In 213, Rice player Jason Carter became the shortest person to play in the NCAA Division I FBS game. He stands at just 4 feet 9 in
Wow.
214 season. Florida State set a record for the highest number of points scored, 723. Impressive awards. The University of Alabama has won more college football championships than any other school, with 10 to its credit as of 2002. In 1980, Marcus Allen became the first football player to have won a college championship, Heisman, Super Bowl, and Super Bowl MVP. Didn't know that. Winning 6 national titles in 2002, how do you say his name? Mante? Mante Teo became one of the most decorated college football players in history. He received the Maxwell, Camp, Butkus, Lombardi, Bananart, and the Gursky Awards. That's unreal.
Golden Domer.
That's unreal.
That's another
Yeah.
one in the tells, guys.
Yeah.
Golden Domer.
Well, it's
High
good.
school.
Anybody else got any
High
question?
Oh, real quick, high school.
Oh, yeah.
Not
sorry.
too much
Oh, yeah.
change. Not too much change. 6A, Central Catholic and NA are at the top. They're both 8-1. They're both heading in the direction to play in the championship game. 5A, Peters Township and Penn Hills are the top 2 teams. In our 4A, Aliquippa still 1, McKeesport, Montour, Central Valley, and TJ. I still say look out for TJ. They've been taking teams to the shed after they lost. Bell Vernon's number 1 in 3A. In 2A, Still Valley, Neshannock's now moved up to 2 since Washington lost. Imani's 3, Mohawk 4, and Washington's 5. They're on a collision course Friday night up at Bledgey Field, Neshannock and Mohawk. That's for all the marbles. That'll be for their conference and their championship. And congratulations also to Coach Freddie.
100
Zocco.
victory.
Yes.
He won 100 games. I think he's been there 11, 12 years. Congratulations, Freddie. That's, what is he, 84? I think class of 84. In A, Fort Cherry is 9-0, and Southside Beaver really beat up on Union the other day. So that's high school, and we're in the last week here. It's hard to believe it was that quick. And
Yeah.
Nick, it seems like we started in band camp, and and here we go. We blink, and we're at the end
July
of the year.
24th is when we started, and here it is. What, October 24th?
Yep. Boom.
Yeah.
We're
Boom.
unbelievable.
So that's it.
I got one thing. Friday night, when we got down to Ambridge, the team wasn't there yet. I went into the locker room, and as I was getting ready to come out, I hear somebody say, "Is Mr. Pia there? Is there a Mr. Pia here?" And I'm like, who knows me in Ambridge,
Right.
So I walk out, and there's this guy, and I look at him, and I know who he is. I forgot his name. It was a Gus Smitty guy. I worked with him down the airport, but he does stuff for Ambridge.
And he's a big high school supporter
Yes,
in
big
Western
high school
Pennsylvania.
supporter, and we're talking tradition,
He's from Newcastle, right?
No,
No,
No.
he's from Monaca.
He's from
Oh,
Monaca.
okay, that's right. You told me that story, right?
So,
he's like the Figo of Monaca.
yeah.
Right, okay.
So we start talking, and he says, I know you guys have a tradition of winning, and he says, I feel bad the way you guys been losing the last couple of years, and stuff. And I said, well, yeah. And then he started talking about Ellen Cuffey. Remembers
Right, he
Ellen
wrote.
Cuffey, Bear Mangino. He's mentioning names. Loved Lindy Laurel. And then he started talking about the Italian coaches, and he had banquets for the Italian coaches. And I have a picture here, if you want to hold it up, of Italian coaches.
Oh, yeah, is that Lindy?
Read that. Oh, yeah.
Read the name.
Listen to this list. This guy would have this banquet for these Italian coaches down in Beaver and in any of these restaurants. And these guys would all show up for him. So Joe Hamilton from Blackhawk, Carl Flory, Frank Morocco, Art Bernardi, Larry Bruno, Lindy Laurel, Tarquinio, and Peep Short. That's an all-star list of coaches right there.
Right.
That's a picture from 2003, but he gave it to me. He gave me two. I gave Chip one.
Yeah, that was a trio. That was a
if you want to put it up and show, you know.
Can you imagine
I don't know if you could see that.
that list of high school coaches? There's only a few that are missing in there,
Right.
Yeah.
because they're not Italian.
Right.
but,
He was-
but that's quite a list there.
He was
But,
he
you
was
know,
telling me that the banquet, they don't know if they're going to have it this year because they can't raise enough money
yeah.
to have the banquet. And he also has like scholarship funds for people, kids from Ambridge. It's
Yeah.
called the Joe Zarilla Scholarship Fund, and he tries to raise money every year. He loves high school football, and like I said, he loves tradition.
He's a promoter. He's a good
promoter.
guy.
He's
likes.
a good guy.
He always told us to tell everybody hello here.
Yes.
And before we do, the Canes got off the schneid. They won their first game, and there was some celebrating.
Oh, I
and,
was so happy for the kids.
I felt great I saw Coach. I saw you go hug him. It was fantastic.
just emotional
Everybody's
thing.
going, "Oh, you beat Ambridge," but it was more than just beating Ambridge.
Yes.
It's
Right.
this has been 2 years of losing. The kids deserved it. They got off. They won a game, and who knows? Maybe Friday night they might win another one, and then they're on a roll. But congratulations, coaches, players. That was a fantastic game. It was great to watch, and I was glad that I'd be there in the end.
All right,
Nick's
now
up
it's for
next.
Nick.
Special guest.
We're
We
happy
only-
to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
We only ate up 30 minutes of your time, Nick.
Oh, yeah, I'll stay all night.
Go ahead. You can tell us the evolution of it. You can whatever you want to
Oh
talk
boy,
about.
I'm better at answering just questions, fielding random here, question there.
Okay.
Well, the band goes as far. And last week's episode, because I did tell the guys that I did kind of a little bit of my own homework and listened to last week's episode. You said you have stats and everything back to when? 1890?
1892.
1892.
Yeah.
All right. So the first band, the instrumental program started in Newcastle in 1914. So a little bit after that.
Right.
First marching band though was in 1922, and I brought some of the guys, some different things, and some other pictures that I showed them tonight of the original band in 1922, and then I'll answer any question. But going through that band in 1992. It was the first band in the yearbook. There may have been a marching band prior to that, but I don't know. But they did march at Soldier Field. So think back in the 1920s, Soldier Field, the Newcastle band went to a national competition for bands at Soldier Field and took 5th place in the country back in 1924. So pretty something there. And then just throughout the years, different band directors put their own little stamp on it. I have one thing I did in the band room was I've collected some pictures either from Tom Zampella whenever he just left them there or whatever, or Michael Palladino, or they were there from prior years, and I kind of created this. You've walked into the band room how many times?
Yes.
And I have just pictures on the wall as they walk through. They're kind of walking through the history of the band.
That's something to see if you want to.
There's a picture of the 1947 band in front of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. 1937 band under Rispoli, I think is his name, or I don't exactly know how to pronounce that name. But then my own little twist on it was I took the band to march at Youngstown State's game in 2018. So I have a couple pictures from Stambaugh Stadium there. The very last picture you walk underneath is the band in 1985 marching at a Steelers game at Three Rivers. I know we were just talking about marching bands at different games, and so they got to march down there. So it's kind of, they get to walk through the history.
How does that happen, though, Nick? Let's say they're going to perform somewhere. How does that happen? Do you have to try out for that, or is it a money thing sometimes?
Sometimes it's a money thing. So if you want to play the Star Spangled Banner, say at the Pirates game, they try to get you to sell as many tickets as possible.
Okay.
So to try to get as much money raised for them. But going to these colleges, I have a connection to Youngstown, being a Youngstown grad, and I knew the director of bands over there, and we kind of just started talking one day, and he said, "Why don't you bring your band over? We have a spot next year." So we looked at dates, and we went over probably on the hottest Saturday in the mid-season that we've had in a long time. The kids it was 9 a.m. and we're practicing on Stambaugh Field, and they're dying in heat already. It was amazing, but such a great day to kind of take my kids back to my alma mater, take my alma mater to my alma mater. That was kind of a fun little thing, and they still talk about it. Some of the kids, I think it's the last group this year, may have been the last. These seniors may have marched there as an 8th grader, but just getting to take them over there and experience that.
How long have you been the band director? How
This
long?
is my
20 years?
14th year.
14.
Yeah,
and
2010.
And they do a fantastic.
Well,
Thank you.
I was just going to say that.
I tell
Nick,
them all.
you know, you do a great job
Thank you.
on the field, off the field. You know, anywhere at the field house or wherever. It's fantastic. I mean, it's not. You wouldn't think what's between the band and the candy canes and everything that's put together to get them
Right.
to just a game and what has to happen.
It all has to
That
be in
being
sync.
said, yeah.
And when I talk the marching band, I talk everybody. It's not just, there used to be a small little disconnect between the marching band and the candy canes and everything, but over many years, my thing is the marching band is everybody. There wouldn't be a dance line if there wasn't a band. The band would not be as exciting without a dance line or a flag line or majorettes.
Yep.
And it's the whole piece, all the pieces of the puzzle coming together to make it.
You even got
special.
Arjada doing your announcing.
Oh, she already has her sign off for Friday because Friday is her last game that
Yeah,
she's gonna do.
she reminded me about that
Oh,
the
we
other
were talking about the
How
other
many years has she
day.
done that, Sam? Couple?
This is at least three.
Yeah,
at
3
least
years.
3.
Yeah, when I see her in the press box, I always go, you got a profession coming in broadcast.
Hey, the funniest one was a couple games ago. I don't know if you were around. Bobby was here. And the batteries went out.
Oh,
on
the batteries
microphone.
died, yep.
Oh, she was.
Oh, she was
he's going to be
panicking.
waiting for
Who's
me.
gonna-
I said, "What are you going to do?" Bobby's digging batteries out of the
Oh,
bag, trying to get them on the microphone.
I figured there was something because she's
Yeah,
been a
that was what it
professional
was.
at it. And then when she first started, she was so shy about it. She was like, I was unsure. But once she got like her second game in,
Yeah.
she's been great ever since. And I'm gonna miss her having her
Yeah,
there. And I've
yeah,
told her
fine
already that
replacement.
I want her to come to the band banquet when we have it.
No,
She's
that's
been a
nice.
part of the band for.
absolutely.
It's not
Yeah.
just your marching. You're the voice of the band for the last 3 years.
Right. She's happy to do it too. She gets excited.
And I've already given her the task to find the next person,
Her
to
replacement.
her replacement, to pass it off. She has someone in mind, and
A couple years ago, we were away game. I said, "That's that person up in that press box. Sounds just like you." She goes, "Papa, that's me." I went, "Oh, geez, I didn't
she
even
got
know."
cut off one game because at the end I used to put go canes, or she would add go canes while in an away game, and she would rev it up a lot. She could go canes, and as soon as she started going, they cut her off.
Oh,
because
wow.
we're at an away game and they didn't want go canes coming
Well,
over the
Ramona and Nathan
loudspeaker.
did that right for a while. Was it her?
Mona did the candy canes. I don't know if she really did ever
You're announcing.
announcing, but she did. She did the candy canes. I get a cheerleader to do it. They travel
That's
to every
right.
single game.
there.
They have the voice because they need to project and everything.
Right.
And they're always peppy. They're always
Right.
so. Why not get them?
I'm looking at this right. I'm looking at this. I don't know what year it is.
1961, 1962, I think.
Yeah, there was 107.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that's
right?
a lot. That's a lot. We're around 70 now.
And
when-
that's not bad.
That's not bad. When we took
70.
over in 2010, we had 46, and I was proud of every single one of those 46.
Right.
When you say 46, is that
46 just band.
just band. Okay.
Just band.
Okay.
And I went from class to class. When I was named the band director, when I was drew the short straw now. When I've wanted the band for years. And when I was named going to be the next person, there were a couple kids that wanted to quit and didn't want to do it because they just didn't know change, going from coast to coast, kids being kids. They don't know what the unexpected is going to be. So the school gave me a day, or at least a half day, to go with the roster, and I went from class to class, and I was basically a used car salesman, and said, give me a chance. Because originally we had like 30. So I got another 16 to join, to come back, and we had 46, and my goal was in 10 years to have it doubled. I wanted to be at 90. And we got to 85, 86, and then COVID hit. So we're back down to 70. We're back up to 70 because the last couple of years we were in the low 60s. We're back up to 70, and we should go. But like you guys know, numbers isn't everything. A lot of people just see numbers.
Right.
I'm quality over quantity.
Right.
And that's what
And
I
they
was.
do it. The
uh,
quality
Sound
is.
alone.
Yeah.
right.
Nick, how does that process work? If, like football, there's Pop Warner. Move on. Where do you start with kids that can play instruments and move them up?
It
How
all
does
starts.
that work?
It all starts at George Washington, and I always say she's the best music teacher probably around, like in our district right now, because she's the most enthusiastic. She gets the kids, and we have great elementary people. We have Leah Marshall, who does a fantastic job up at Lockley. We have Carmen Dando, who does a lot of our. She does all the instrumental stuff starting 4th and 5th grade.
She's the one in Washington.
She's at one at Washington.
She's
yes,
the one you were
she's
talking about.
yeah,
That's
she's at
Diane
Washington.
Patillo's niece.
Yeah, and
So you get her.
And her dad
to-
was a band
to-
director.
To
Right.
start molding these kids there.
well, she starts them out. She's the one that gets her energy attracts people, and so she gets them to really buy in and want to start. And her numbers have exploded this year. Just she was like, Nick, I don't know what we're gonna do with all these, but we're gonna make it work.
That's a good problem to
And
have,
it's a
I
good,
guess.
great problem to
Yeah.
have. We'll figure out a solution.
I mean, are they taking music classes, or how
Well,
do they
they-
come to
they-
you and say, "Hey, I want to play the drums"?
She
I don't
she
play
does
the
a
drums.
tryout night. She does
Oh, it's a tryout.
she does a sign up, and then we'll take anybody. It's not like you're trying out or getting cut. You're not going to get cut, but you might try out a flute or a clarinet or a trumpet. You're little. You might not want to play tuba. Okay, you know what I mean? You might want to play something, and then you get them started, and they have weekly lessons with Carmen, and then they have also full band in 5th grade, and then they come up to me in 6th grade, and John and I have Anya Frack and I have them in 6th grade, and we also have Bethany Piscatella is also at George Washington too. So between the 5 of us, it starts with the elementary, but it does feed up into the energy of Carmen.
I didn't know
John,
where this came from.
I know John's not with you this year.
John's not with me in the
He's still in
everyday
the school
band.
district.
He's still in school, but he's the choir director now.
Oh, okay. Right.
But he's also still doing some 6th grade band lessons.
Okay.
So he gets the brass people, I get the woodwinds,
Okay.
because that's our specialties. So
Right.
he's still connected, but he's not fully in there every day.
Right.
Question for you. Nick.
Yeah.
I noticed in the earlier bands and a lot of the high school bands from around the area, the marching band, like I noticed the majorettes used to be anywhere from 8 to 10 girls.
Mm-hmm.
And they could, now is there a limit that you put on, or girls just aren't interested to go out there?
There's not as many to pick from nowadays. Just not as many taking those lessons. At Newcastle with me, and actually, if you look throughout this, I don't remember any time there being, at least during my time, that there were a ton of majorettes. I remember whenever I was in high school, there were maybe 2. When I was on staff, there were maybe 2 or 3. And then for me, I would have a featured majorette, or we would have 2. But when we were trying to pick someone, we didn't want it to be like, okay, if there's one standout. We didn't want to have, and there was one that just learning, great, keep working, we'll probably get you back on next year. We'll get you on next year. But we don't want to hold one back to help the other, or at the same time, we don't want to just let the one go that is stellar and succeeding and everything, and let the other person kind of look like they might not know what they're doing yet. So we give them another year. But we've never had really that issue. Because when the years we have had 2, we've had 2 good ones. Whenever we've had one, we've had one great one. So this year we don't have any majorettes. This is the first time in a long time that I don't remember a majorette. Yeah.
I'm going to try to get a past majorette in here. She watches the show. Denise Donahue. Denise Gardner.
Okay.
And I think all her sisters were part of that. She was a majorette.
I wonder if she's the one that came to an alumni band a couple years ago.
That was, I think.
Because
Her
she's
mother, right?
phenomenal.
Well, they honored her mom.
Yes.
Oh, a couple years ago
Yeah.
when the 100th, she just turned 100.
turned 100.
Yeah, I just looked at that. That
Yeah,
picture
she
just
passed
came
away
across my phone.
She passed away last year.
Oh, but yeah, the one that I brought back for an alumni game, because I've done an alumni.
She had a couple. If I'm not mistaken, Denise, please correct me, but she had a couple sisters. I think they were majorettes.
When
Or
I had
Candy Canes.
Yeah, whenever I had an alumni, and actually there was one for the 1973 team. She was, I think, standing on the sideline
Yeah,
with
one
maybe
of 'em.
family,
One of 'em,
and
yeah.
I just saw her twirling down there. I said that has to be her, but I
Right.
couldn't tell from the band show.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's,
What other questions?
I got a silly question.
All right.
This is a little silly though.
My favorite college marching? No.
At the field house, when you play Hey Go Canes, how do you get the song to end right when the buzzer goes off? How do you do that?
I
Is there a
tried.
trick? Is there a whip?
No, there's
yeah,
no
I
trick.
noticed that.
There's
How
no
do you do that?
trick, but there was one year And I forget who ran it for a long time, and then someone would run the clock for a long time.
That was Ziggy. He's
Okay. And then
he's doing the book.
I went down and I said, "Don't stop the clock because we're trying to time it."
Ricky was doing it. For
It
a
was
while.
Ricky.
Yeah, I know it's like 42, 43, 44 seconds, but
Okay.
it doesn't. Are the drums going to speed it up? Is the band going to slow down, or am I going to count it off? Is it going to be on me? But it's like a little game that the band plays, and we try to get it. Hey, but
Nick, you don't miss too many.
No,
you're right there.
We're
It
within
ends, and they go Canes, and the buzzer goes off.
And
I always wondered how you did
I
that.
try to time it. It's a little game, and the kids go crazy whenever we do it.
It's perfect.
We
I'm gonna
try.
tell you, that was something.
Years ago, when the cans would come out, they'd first come out of the locker room. You guys played a fight song.
Is this football or basketball?
This is basketball.
Okay.
You played a fight song.
Uh-huh.
Years ago, they used to play Sweet Georgia Brown when they come out.
Yeah. I
Okay,
remember.
so funny.
Yeah.
I'm just
They had the candy striped pants.
Funny
interesting
story
too.
about that. Funny story about that. So, I gotta say, and Ralph knows this because I've told him many times. I'm very lucky to have a basketball coach, Ralph Blundo, that is the biggest supporter of the band. There have been two articles in the Post Gazette over the last 6-7 years, and about pep bands. Or one was about pep bands solely. If there was 9 paragraphs, 5 of them were Ralph. And then there's another one a couple years ago. There she is. My announcer right there. The voice of the band.
Bring her over here.
Come
Bring her over
here.
here.
Come here.
We got to ask you something.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
We got to ask you something.
Yeah.
Have
Hi.
you decided on who your replacement's going to be, or do you have a list of people that you're?
Yes, I decided Kalia Gardner is going
Okay,
to
so
do
you
it,
can
yeah.
make that announcement tonight.
Yeah, Kalia Gardner
We'll
will
be
my
taking
new-
over as the band announcer when you graduate.
Yeah,
I think
Kayvon's
she knows
sister.
it,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we know who's going to be doing that. And
Yeah.
we talked about you that you did a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you. I
I'm
haven't-
sorry we snuck that Gus on you the other day.
Oh,
That
no.
guy likes to talk, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, he was talking. I was like, oh.
I said, you know whose granddaughter this is, and that's all I had to say.
Oh,
he wouldn't let her
jeez.
go.
We're
Gus.
talking about the battery.
Gus.
Okay.
Oh, the battery. I was so nervous. I texted him and was like, I'm so sorry. That like never happened before.
That's happened
yeah.
to the best of us, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just telling the story about how you got cut off at
Oh,
that one game.
Yeah, that's
the
what
one
I'm
away
talking
game.
about, yeah.
No, the
Oh,
one away game. You
when
tried
they
to sneak
shut
in to
me
go
off.
Canes.
Yeah,
and
they shut me off.
They
That
turned her off.
happened. Yeah.
That'll happen.
Then
Yeah.
at home when the microphone,
Microphone went out. Yeah, I got cut off a couple of times.
Mr. P, he was right on there with 2 batteries.
Yeah, no, but now I have a nice farewell coming.
Yeah,
I'm
you
signing
got one
off.
more to
It's
go.
gonna be real sad.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Thanks,
Sharon.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Okay.
So, a couple years ago, they did an article. I think Ron White did it about the best field houses to watch a basketball game in Newcastle. Field house was number 1, and Ralph was interviewed for that. Well, he mentioned Sweet Georgia Brown on purpose. He walked by the band room one day and said, "Hey, Ralph, saw the article." He stopped. He turned around and he was like, "I mentioned something in there for a reason. What was it?" I said, "Sweet Georgia Brown." He said, "Yes." He goes, "Can you please come bring that, play that at the next games or whatever, or next season or the start of the season?" And me being, you're our biggest supporter, and of course I'm going to do it. So I wrote it out, and we've done it a couple times here and there. We don't make it a traditional every game that we do it. It is also a little more tough of a song to play, so I need the right personnel to be there.
Right.
But we do it. We bring it
You
back
do
every
well,
once in
yes.
a while.
Yep. Well, first of all, who doesn't like pep bands to begin with? That's a good understatement there, because we go to these other gyms and they've got that music blaring and blasting, and it's horrible. And everybody around us is going, "What's this music? Where's this music?"
He's the first
Turn
one,
this
and then
off.
we all just chime in with
And
them.
then
Loud and
we have fans come into our gym and they'll say
Oh
a
yeah,
lot.
I get a lot of
How nice you guys have.
I
Yes.
get a lot of people to come
Always.
up.
And
To
I think West Allegheny maybe, and I think down at Hopewell, there's just a few places
Yeah.
that have pep bands, North Allegheny, but not everybody does. They just take the easy way out.
My standing thing with him is, are you going to be there tonight?
Yeah, because there are times.
There is once
There are games
one,
during the
about
winter, yeah.
once a season I'm not able to be there. The band's not able to be there. If I'm not able to be there, but most of the band still has been able to run
Yeah.
it.
doing
And again, I
fantastic.
miss once every 2 years or something like that.
How
But
do you decide who's a pep band? Like they
sign up. Sign up. If I get a lot of drummers to sign up, I'll probably create like a and a B squad. Not an A and a B squad, but you come these games, you come these games. Just so, because we don't need drums are going to be so loud in that place.
Right.
But yeah, it's a fun pep band. I enjoy pep band.
We do have one request.
Okay.
And we've been trying for years. It's just been years and years.
Oh,
we've been
yeah, go ahead.
trying.
This is the real reason why I was brought on.
No, at least once during basketball season,
Okay.
play Pop Goes the Weasel.
Oh, Pop Goes the Weasel.
The Stooges.
That
That would, we would like, we'd probably be.
That would be it, man.
That would be
If Tony Court makes a bad call, then maybe play it.
Okay.
But no, it's all a Stooge thing, you know.
Right.
And that's what we talk about constantly.
Every
Yeah.
time I hear that whistle too, something pops inside it.
But we'd start laughing, and everybody would probably wonder why we're laughing.
Right. That's funny.
You know what? I'm going to say this again, and not because you're sitting next to me, but you do a fantastic job.
I appreciate
Yes,
it.
you do.
And it's loud, and people walk by us and say, "Boy, that band's pretty."
I
loud."
appreciate
Yeah, they would come by and say,
Yep.
"We're a small band. How loud they?" You know.
Yeah, exactly.
There, in my first year when I took over in 2010, we were 46, like I said, and I sometimes I feel like the band shell's over in Shenango Township.
Yeah.
But in the first year, I remember Mr. Ambrosini and a couple other people said, "Hey, do you want amplification? Do you want to maybe us put?" I said, "No, let me build the band. Let's build the band up. Give me a couple years. We get more people into, and I tell them, point your bells at that press box on the big side, and now
There you
I
go.
still ask people, can you hear us over there? They say, oh yeah, plenty. We hear you now from over there.
It was nice when the band shell was where it was.
Well,
It was right
nothing
in the
could beat
area
the
that-
old band shell
Yeah,
whenever
no,
it was in that old, that old one whenever I was in school. Yeah.
It was a good spot there.
It was a good
It was
spot.
right on top of the team when they would be going into the end zone there, too.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then we put it right on the other side.
Same end zone, but closer to the steel stands.
Yeah.
But then when they renovated the whole field and put in a new track,
Yeah, we had to move
they
it
tore
up.
that down. That was only there for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, it wasn't there very
And then
long.
moved it back over.
So that is, what year would you say that was, Nick?
Oh man.
Tom Zambella was.
Tom Zampella was the band director. Yeah.
So you had 14 years ago, so
That band show. I'm gonna say 2002,
202.
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 2002, maybe
Right.
even earlier.
Right.
I can actually probably find it. I have all the
And
documentation still on my desk.
And which was a perfect place for it, because it just was on the other side.
Right.
But then we wanted a 6-lane track, so we had to do some.
6-lane track,
Yeah,
and
moving
then also
around.
that creates a blind spot.
Right.
Not that there isn't blind spots at some of these tracks and everything, and I would love to move it over there again or somewhere in the end zone. But I'm happy with our area too, because we can use the rack. There's restrooms in
Yes,
the rack.
right.
The girls can go in there and change and everything. So there's a lot of
Trade-off.
pluses.
You know, the
for
funniest
being out
people out there, and Frank and Bobby, and I don't know if you remember, back in the day, there was coming out of the old locker room, there was the little tunnel.
The arch.
Yes,
The arch.
the arch.
Yep.
Then there was the band shell. So when you were running the 200 or all the races, you'd lose track. You'd lose track.
would see
oh,
the guy.
he's winning now. He's
Right.
losing.
Right.
There
Right.
you go.
Who's
Yeah.
tripping who back there?
Yeah, you got about, would say, 3 or 4 seconds that you wouldn't see the
disappear.
runner.
Right.
And it was actually back in that day. Now, when I coached track with my brother for all those years, we didn't have that there. So it was like a little distraction trying to train your athletes. Well, I gotta lose you for 4 seconds, but just keep running fast.
Right. Yeah, that would have been something. But I do miss. I cherish my days that I had in that old band shell and just being in the band, and because I marched from '92 to '97 or '93 to '90 something,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah. What I'd like to do now is, if my era that I can remember was Mike Farrar.
Mike
right?
Ferraro, yep.
Then-
Who's still Jesse Croce and Chris Macy still go see him.
Wow.
They still go visit him.
I seen Mike Farrar. Maybe my brother Denny and I were
I'm gonna look it up because Chris
painting
just
houses.
painted.
and we went out to paint. He lives in Bessemer.
Yeah.
His son's a band
Yeah.
director. Well, was a band director. I know he's still a music educator over in Ohio.
Oh,
Fantastic player. I'm gonna find Chris's picture here in a second.
Yeah, he was. We went out. We were painting that summer. So Denny was still working, and I was still working on the turnpike. So gosh sakes, I've been on the turnpike 19 years.
20 years.
So it was 20 years ago.
Year 2000.
Yeah. So he's got to be 90s.
Chris went and saw.
And how old's his son?
Son's probably in his.
65?
Probably in his 50s.
Oh, that's
or
Mike.
So. Yeah.
Oh wow. Mike Flora.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Yep, looks the
Yep,
same.
that's
yeah.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks the same.
Michael C.
God
Ford.
bless him.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
God bless him.
He was a taskmaster, from what I hear.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, he would take. You did not want to cross him at all and everything. And you made sure you knew your music. You made sure you knew your stuff.
Did you? Who was after Mike?
Tom.
Tom Zambella.
Tom
for
Zambella.
Quite a while.
Quite a while. Yeah,
Both of them.
26 years. But
Wow.
Tom was the first, I believe, the first Newcastle grad to have the Newcastle band.
Wow.
And then Mike Palladino had it for 4 years, and then I've had it for 14.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
What's one of your
job.
biggest goals? Are you still looking forward to that?
Still growing the program. I mean, I still have fire left in me and everything to try to. It becomes a long season, especially. I mean, this season. I mean, we know the season's been a long season, keeping these kids going and everything. However, the game the other night reminded me and reminded the kids on exactly what we're there for and what's going on. And we have a small little tradition that I brought from Youngstown State that anytime that it's a win, especially on the away, but if it's a win, we would walk out of the stadium with our hats backwards. Kind of a cool little,
Great.
just a small
See,
little
there's
thing.
tradition.
Small
Yes,
little
there's
thing.
Tradition,
And
right.
the kids come over.
That's
to the
all
band
we
show.
taught. Yep.
Yep.
And that's another thing. Did you do that, or was that something that was installed?
That was something that Pat Meninock and I,
right.
Pat
Right.
Meninock and I talked about. I wish it would happen more often. I wish it would happen. It used to be win or lose. It doesn't matter. We are all one school. We're
Yeah.
all there to support each other
Right.
and trying to lift each other up. Maybe a little bit more, maybe during a loss to try to. But yeah, it's nice whenever that, because then it becomes a little party. And I do have some cool pictures on my phone and everything of the band from the band shell with the football team behind the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders right there.
Oh, we've had
candy
some good
canes.
celebrations.
Oh
We've had
yeah.
some real
So
good
especially on a nice comeback win or something like that, and then just everyone is loving it. Yeah, but there's a lot of traditions.
We always point to that tradition thing, and just like I said earlier, we want to touch with every group that is part of the tradition. I like to get a cheerleader in here, maybe a cheerleader advisor, and talk to you. Get her in there, the past cheerleader advisors, the candy canes, the majorettes, and just maybe one night we'll do a session with everybody here. You guys can just shoot the bull with
My-
it.
my-
like to get Tommy Zambelli.
Right.
down here.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. I did
Yeah.
a couple. I have done a couple alumni bands, and one time, and I have the picture in my office. It's a picture of me, Mike, and Tom,
That's
and the
awesome.
three of us just from that alumni homecoming game
That's
and everything.
awesome.
It's pretty cool. And
they scratch each other's backs, because I've seen in plays that I've seen
Oh,
a few
yeah.
of the plays. You guys, you go in and help out the.
oh yeah,
And I've seen Tom there,
oh yeah.
and Mike.
Yep, Mike. I've
not
seen
Mike
Mike.
Farrar, but
Mike Palladino. I've seen Mike Mike and his
Right,
wife the last
right.
couple weeks.
Fantastic.
But my thing has been, and it just goes along with the tradition, kids know pride and tradition. That has been my saying since day one. Pride and tradition.
why
That's all
you're
we
here
talk.
now.
That's all we talk about.
And when I took over, and it's actually, I was just thinking about this last night. When I took over, it was myself, John Onufrak, Carmen Dando, Joy Piscatella, Robert Flamino, my drum guy. All five of us are Newcastle grads. So we showed them the Macy's performance. I had the DVD. Now you can see it on YouTube. They gave a Newcastle band a Macy's flag. I still have that flag. I wasn't even a thought in my parents' eye whenever that happened, but I still have all that stuff
Right.
being passed down. So we were able to tell them the tradition of the Newcastle band, because not only is there the tradition of the football team, and like you said, it all goes together.
Yes.
And we just try to instill that into the kids all the time.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get it right one day. We're gonna,
Your future.
in the near future, we're gonna get it right. Everything. If everybody buys into this, everything cheerleaders.
That's what it is.
Candy canes, football team, parents, administration, and everybody gets on this same page one day. This is all going to work. You know, and we talk and love the tradition, and we talk about this all the time. We ask kids sometimes, and sometimes kids don't know, and that's why we have to tell them. You have to tell them it's just not one thing; it's 100 things.
Right. I bleed red and black just like all of you guys, and I don't know if I could be work in a different district, just because this is what I know. This is my home. This is that was my years in band drove me to wanting to instill this into this, and I don't know if I would have that same cheerleader type feeling every Friday night for a football game or something, or a basketball game. Enthusiasm, yeah. I don't know if I would have that at a different school that wasn't my alma mater.
Absolutely.
And he's always on call for line of duty. He's always ready to go.
Yep, 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. Hey, good morning. This is Sam.
Yeah. Oh, I caught you. I knew he was. Teacher's gonna. My daughter, she gets up early too, so I know I got him. It wasn't even no hesitation.
I know you guys had a great working relationship.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know who did years.
Yeah.
And every Friday was red and black day. And I still wear red and black, and I've been out of school.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep.
Actually, I had to dig this out today just because Sam, before he left, he was just like, I have a lot of clothes
And guess
that
what?
hasn't been worn.
I forgot, and I still got some more. I'm going to bring. I'm going to
Awesome.
bring them up to you.
I mean,
I'll bring them up to you. I got some stuff.
I have polo shirts. I have this pullover from him. Hats galore. It's great.
I think everybody that's got stuff on here has come from Sam FLORA.
Yeah, probably.
Well, listen, we want to thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
Come back.
Anytime.
Come back.
Absolutely.
We'll get you with the Zump Man.
I have a lot.
Michael
That'll be
Palladino.
fun.
We'll get you back, and we'll.
That'll be fun.
Tommy will love to be here. He'll be
Oh,
loved.
Tommy would eat it up. He would eat it up.
I'll give him a call.
He'll talk about Pitt.
Yeah.
He'll be a Pitt Panther.
I have, and actually I have an old picture because as I was going through my things today, here's another picture of that's the band at Old Pitt Stadium. The game to go to the state championship.
It's pretty sweet.
Woodland Hills.
Against Woodland
98.
Hills, 98.
Pat Kane.
Yep. Joe Coward. Yep.
We were there.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Can we show that on the camera, Ronnie?
I could send some of these to you, and you can post them on
Yeah.
Facebook
So
or
people
something
watching
like that.
can see it.
Chip,
Oh,
they never have
gosh.
a new stadium in our lifetime.
I don't know if you're going to be able to. You can't. You
I've been
probably
there
can't see
for
that.
good.
It's too.
I miss that stadium. That was tradition down here.
The lights are catching it.
Lusaka Polite.
The lights are catching. There we go. That's better.
you go.
There we go. There's a Newcastle band at Old Pitt Stadium. Yep. Cool.
What year was that?
98.
98.
Championship.
98. Yeah, I have. Afterwards, I'll show you some. I have the Three Rivers picture on there.
Against North Allegheny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was from 1985, but I remember being in that.
Oh, that
the
was
North,
85.
The 85 from the band marching in a Steelers game.
Okay.
Was it
Okay.
98? Wasn't that was at Three Rivers?
98 was that?
98 was the Three Rivers,
Yeah.
the WPIL championship.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. Right,
because when we showed up,
When we played Woodland Hills, what game was that then? What was that, a semifinal? Was that a semifinal game?
I think so. Yeah, to go to the championship, to go to the state championship,
Wait, Woodland, did we beat, do we have to go to Erie the next week?
Yeah, we played here.
or maybe
We went to
Erie was
play
the
Erie
one.
Prep.
That was a battle.
Battle.
That was a
They
battle.
they had 2-3 D1 guys
Oh,
there.
it was a battle.
And we ended up getting that game,
Well, for
and then
state-
we went to Hershey.
For states,
Then
you
we
had
went
to win 1 or 2 games
Probably
against the
just
states.
one probably at the time.
Yeah. One.
And then I remember this, I'll never forget, it was December 10th was the game. Remember how warm it was that day?
Yes.
We were all wearing shorts.
Yeah.
It was in the 70s,
Yep.
December 10th. Now you see some of these championship games are frigid.
What was it? A trick play John Vancevich went flying. What was it? Like a. Remember what the play
Well,
was?
they,
No, it
they
was just
shuffled
like-
it to Rosati.
It was just It was just that.
There was a shuffle pass.
Yeah,
But
the
Erie
wing
Prep
team.
was good. They were real good. We beat them.
That was a battle.
Battle.
But anyway, thank you again.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much. And listen, audience out there, we're going to start going to Wednesdays. Ronnie, our producer, great job again. We're going to go Wednesdays in November. So next week we'll be here on Wednesday, and it's going to be at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30, because God forbidden
Because the time change.
change.
People were going to go to bed early.
Still can't
Yeah.
figure it out, but anyway, 11-1, 11-8, 11-15, 11-22. Anyone out there, candy canes, ex-Newcastle Red Hurricanes, we've said it. Anybody,
Cheerleaders.
major
Anybody from back in the
cheerleaders,
day.
come down here. We're not going to invite you unless you're Nick, because I know Nick, I got his phone number. But anyway, just walk in that door, we eat after, just no invitation, just stop in. So those are the dates. Ronnie and I were talking about a Toys for Tots. We said
That's cool.
December 20th. We did a food drive last year. We're going to do a Toys for Tots this year. Yeah, that's going to be on a Wednesday right before Christmas. So, you know, we're going to make it a nice show like we did last year, 6 to 8. Trying to get Santa Claus to come too, maybe from the North Pole, but we'll check on that too. But anyway, tonight's, we're going to plug tonight Pizza Man Pizza. He sent us some food down, so we're going to eat after, which we do every night. And I think as of next week, Lindy's up on the hill. She's going to start giving us, donating some food to us. We don't get paid here, but we eat pretty
You
good.
eat good. That's
And thank
one of
you
the
all
best
the
things
sponsors.
about this town.
Yes, a lot of good places to eat. So we're going to end it at this. Listen, we have some people to pray for out there. Dennis Alisco was an ex-Red Hurricane. We got to pray for him and all the ones that are sick. Our prayers go out to the family. Dennis, get well. We're praying for you. And anybody else got anything?
Get well, Dennis.
Get well. Get well.
well.
Okay, and we like to thank
Igor.
We like to thank ServaxNet for having us here. It's great to be here. It's as professional, and we say this all the time, as it can be. Thank you. Good night, and Bobby.
Keep working.
At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili and has been for nearly 100 years since we opened in 1923. We help put Newcastle on the map as the hot dog capital of the world. Visit our store, place an order for pickup at mpconeyisland.com, delivery with DoorDash, or find the grocery store near you with our chili locator on our website. Want to own your own MP Coney Island? Now you can with our franchise system. At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili.